What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the most interactive wrestling show on the interweb. Welcome back to Wrestling with Omer. It is Sunday, October 20th, 2024. Coming to you live from Real Take Laboratories. I don't know. That's what I'm going to call it for right now. Real Take Labs. Today, we're going to be talking about whatever the hell you guys want to talk about. Y'all know how it goes. It's a fan-driven show. You guys have something you want to talk about, put it in the chat. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it. Be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We got Kenny Omega. We'll be talking about him possibly making his return to AEW at some point pretty soon as the days just go by and his return looks closer. We're also going to be talking about Brock Lesnar, something that I know that people are kind of sick of talking about, but we got to get into the discourse and all the things that people want to get into about Brock Lesnar and his not so potential return to WWE. I do not believe, and I'm going to say that from the top, I do not believe that Brock will be back in WWE. But all that, much more, we'll get into. I mean, first things first, like the biggest and you know, most, I think, encapsulating like story this week has kind of been, you know, a lot of the hype around this AEW storyline. I've discussed this in the past. Like, how is it going to potentially change the way they bring in Shane McMahon? How is it going to change the way that fans react to the current AEW product? And the reality is, we don't know. And like, that is the brutal truth, right? We don't know whether Shane is going to come in. I was very sure at one point, I'll say it, I was very sure at one point that Shane was going to come in. And I felt like everything they were doing was so they could bring Shane into the fold. However, some 5, 6 now weeks later, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that is even the route you'd want to go on at this point, because you are telling a very compelling story that doesn't really need the sensationalism or the big, you know, oh my God, it's a huge thing with Shane coming in. It would be nice. It would be cool. And I think there's still a path for him to come in potentially in the Elite storyline. But I just don't know if it is with the Moxley stuff, as I once thought was the case. But that's just me. That's just kind of how I'm gauging that situation. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting, you know, turn of events when it comes to Shane McMahon and WWE. Or AEW. I mean, WWE and Shane was like a real big turn of events too, if we want to talk about it. I mean, even just that story of Vince handing Shane a knife and telling him that if he wants to be able to make the big decisions in the company, that he's going to have to kill him. Like, that is psychotic. That is insane. That is utterly stupefying, you know, I think for anyone, especially when you're like thinking about or talking about, you know, biggest wrestling company in the world. But yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. And how, like, the fact that we're in a world where this is even like possible, and like we're seeing, you know, pictures of Shane meeting up with the Elite, meeting up with even that picture of Shane with the Young Bucks is like still one of the craziest and crazier things that I've seen. Like, you know, the Young Bucks obviously have been trolls and will always continue to be trolls for the rest of their existence, as, you know, that's just who they are, and it's part of their gimmick at this point. But at the same time, I really do believe that I really do believe that, it's crazy. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about Kenny Omega. So, for those of you who don't know, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi have been training in Japan. Kota Ibushi has basically chronicled this entire story on his Twitter page or on across the social medias, really. And he has stated that Kenny Omega is nearing a return. We do not know whether it's going to be, a couple of months or a couple of weeks, whatever it's going to be. But he says Kenny is nearing a return. I believe there's also been reporting from the Wrestling Observer that Kenny is probably a couple of months away from truly returning to full-time in-ring action. He obviously was battling diverticulitis, which many wrestling fans have dubbed the Brock Lesnar disease because that's what he was dealing with at one point. But Omega, Omega's obviously been through a lot, not just in the past couple of months with diverticulitis, but the past couple of years. And one of the things that I have long said is that a big problem that AEW has faced has been this lost momentum that has repeatedly plagued the company. Whether it be lost momentum due to the Brawl-Out incident from 2022, which again, Omega was a part of. He was not an instigator in, but he was a part of, for sure. But you had that, and you had like that combined with the fact that Omega had just returned a couple of weeks before that. And one of the big things there was, okay, we hadn't seen Kenny for a while. He finally comes back. We think we're going to get Kenny full-time, ready to go, and they're going to start up this trios division that everyone's excited about. And they do, and All Out was fantastic. And then, boom, he's gone from TV for a couple of months. So again, you had lost momentum after an exciting return. And there's only so many times that a talent can return that you can feel excited about. Now, granted, I'm going to feel excited about Kenny Omega returning every day of the week. But that's not what the full audience wants. And, you have that combined with, just be honest, the stuff he was doing with Jericho wasn't great. And that was part of this, the sports and the WWE-ifying is what many AEW fans refer to it as. I kind of refer to it as them going into a more sports entertainment-oriented realm of storytelling, which I don't think is bad. And I think that gets a pretty bad rep amongst a lot of fans. And here's the thing, right? Sports entertainment, or whatever we want to call it, we know the difference between what sports entertainment and pro wrestling is if someone brings that up, right? But at the same time, it's good to have, in some cases, corny, cheeky, and fun storylines that are on your show. For example, I thought that I know it wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but I thought the Adam Cole MJF stuff from the summer right up until Adam Cole's injury was fantastic. I enjoyed it. Call me corny, call me whatever you want, but love, friendship, all that kind of stuff, seeing the relationship grow on TV was fantastic. It was a nice thing. And it got overplayed. And I think, obviously hindered because of Adam Cole Bebe's injury. So that obviously played a critical role in derailing that story. And just like I think, the multiple absences and, the suspension, the injuries have derailed, not derailed, but it definitely affected Kenny Omega and AEW's momentum over the last couple of years. Brandon J, he coming back next month? I don't know if it's next month. I mean, November is next month. So, I could see that. I'm not going to speculate on the exact timing as far as he will be back at this point. But what I will say is, I think there is generally a feeling that before the end of the year, Kenny will be back, and I think that is, At least that's what has been reported and stated. Like, and Kota Ibushi is saying, like, soon. He's always saying soon. So, if I had to again, this is just me shooting the breeze, but I would probably say, like, end of the year. I could see it. And I think, like, they're going to need him. They have some pretty... And like, look, they're already teasing stuff for Wrestle Kingdom, so it would have to be before the end of the year, actually. Because Omega is already teasing his big match with Tanahashi and against the Young Bucks, his big tag team match for Wrestle Kingdom. So 100% he would have to be back before the end of the year, for sure. So, in that way, I would expect him. Ooh. Gotta take care of that. I gotta shave a little bit. Getting grainy on the sides. But yeah, you have that big Wrestle Kingdom show, and then the day after that, you have Wrestle Dynasty, which is AEW officially AEW's like first foray into Japan. They might even have like a Dynamite out there in Japan. So if that's the case, like you have to have Kenny Omega there. He's your biggest star, and he's, as far as like the Japanese audience goes, him, Kazuchika Okada. Like those are your two biggest like crossover stars for that audience. You would need those two, and I think like you have that. You have AEW Grand Slam in Australia, live from Brisbane. I haven't like really checked what ticket sales for that show are like. By the way, guys, see you guys trickling in. Welcome. Be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. But do a quick search. We haven't gotten like a WrestleTix update about this because I think the map, the way the map is kind of laid out, it doesn't allow you to see the full thing, so it's kind of annoying in that way. But even from like the seats that have opened up here, I think like it's clear that they are not selling tickets to the level that they probably want to. And look, you want to fix that in part? Kenny Omega would go a very long way to helping remedy some of those ticket sale woes, I think. Yeah. And I'm not going to say, actually, they're selling... Yeah, I mean... okay, that floor, there's a lot of tickets on the floor. But, okay, I mean, they're selling decent, I guess, tickets. I don't have an estimate on this, but it looks decent enough. Some of these sections are full, some of these sections are not. And they've opened up quite a few, so they usually don't do that, but we'll see, I guess. It is interesting, though, AEW seems to be going for that, like, old school, or I guess, like, current WWE kind of, like, side entrance, where it's, like, the little curved entranceway. That could be cool. We'll see what ends up happening there. We got John in the chat. Welcome, John, saying Kenny Omega, I think, is done. Hope he's well. I mean, I think he's done with... I mean, again, I don't want to speculate, but like, I think he's close to being done with his road to recovery. That is the indication that we've gotten from like Kota. That's the indication we've even gotten from Kenny. If you look back at his Tanahashi promo. Still Bullet Club for life. Say what you guys want to about AEW or whatever, but the Bullet Club will forever go down as a group that truly changed professional wrestling. And AEW is living proof of that. And like I try to like tell people, people ask me all the time, it's like, why like I have like this take, like my favorite version of Cody Rhodes, and like the reason that like I really like fell in love with the Cody Rhodes character has nothing to do with what he's done in WWE. I actually, like, quite frankly, like outside of his initial feud with Rollins and then the stuff that they did in between Mania and, I'm not going to say Rumble, but like Elimination Chamber, basically. Outside of that, I have not really enjoyed Cody's run in WWE, and I think a lot of it is because we don't see the personality that made Cody Rhodes into what he is today. When he was on the indies and he was in Japan and he was in kind of in AEW, he was a very three-dimensional, character This was a character. Like, this was a true guy whose personality shined. And it wasn't the cheesy stuff that he was doing with Stardust. It wasn't the, over the top stuff that he was kind of doing with the I am a broken Cody Rhodes, even though I like that too. But I just think, like, we haven't seen that Cody Rhodes. The Cody Rhodes that many people originally back in like 2017, 2018 really gravitated towards, when he was a free agent. And he really made a name for himself, like, on that. And, like, obviously he was already like a former WWE star, but it was different. And, like, it's hard. Like, I try to explain to Brian, young boy Brian over at Kiss the Ring. Shout out to him. I try to explain, like, oh man, like, you think this is good. You have no idea. You have no idea, man. Oof. Did you know Cody's in the new Naked Gun movie? I did hear about this. And look, his sense of humor, perfect for that movie. Like, if you go back and watch, like, the original, like some of the original BTE vlogs, Cody in that is, like, one of the funniest dudes, like, ever. Like, he is, and like, that's really what's missing, because it's just like look, this is not me hating on. I love Cody Rhodes. I'm always going to support what that man does outside of politics, because some of his political takes allegedly are kind of wild. But at the same time, like, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, man, like, none of these promos have that personality, have that, now that like character development that I saw Cody have on like the indies. And maybe it's just, a product of, like, that being, or me being nostalgic for that, or maybe it is just that Cody right now is not as good as he was then as far as a character. But I don't know. I love heel Cody Rhodes outside of WWE. Yeah, that's what a lot of people fall in love with. By the way, hi Frank, how you doing, my good friend? Guys, by the way, if you're trickling in, be sure to leave a thumbs up on this video so as many people as possible see it. Yeah, so, but, like, yeah, I don't know. The thing with Cody is, I don't think they're gonna turn him heel. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, yeah, there's too much there for him to turn heel. There is the possibility if, like, they have Roman, right? They don't need Cody to be the only babyface. Like, it's a very different situation than when we saw John Cena in the mid to late 2000s, because he was the only big-time babyface draw to that degree. They even had to try to get more big-time babyfaces in, like, trying to turn Triple H into a face for a while there, because they were like, we don't have any. So, and Triple H is, like, traditionally, like, best as a heel. But anyway, like, I think, like, there is a chance for him to turn heel somewhere down the line, because you have Roman as a babyface. You have, like, a major, like, Cody main event level babyface. There are people, like, you can build up into that position. I think Gunther is definitely a guy they have big aspirations for, and they should have big aspirations for, and I think he can one day fill that mantle. Rollins is always, like, a main event level guy who can fit into that space. So, and, like, that's not even counting Bianca Belair, who automatically fits into that space whenever they actually want to do stuff with her, even though she's kind of just been with Jade for the past year, and I love it. It's just the slow burns, WWE. Stop with the slowest. These are the slowest burns I've ever felt. Please do something. Anyway, but you have, like, I think more support on that main event babyface tier. So there is the potential to turn Cody heel. I just, given how slow storylines progress in WWE, I just don't know when that would be. He was heel with Randy. Yeah. I mean, he was heel when he first came in. You're right, with the Legacy, 100% right. But I'm talking about, like, the current run with WWE. I'm talking about, like, right now, right? Because Cody then and what he has become now are, like, two very different things. Boy bleaches his hair. He's gonna be going to Turkey. Shout out to Caro. He's gonna be going to Turkey one of these days, because boy is bleaching the hell out of his hair. It's kind of crazy. You guys remember when he came back from, I think, a sabbatical? This is during the pandemic. He had just lost the TNT Championship to the late great Brody Lee, and he came back and he was like, he like had to like dye his hair back to black because he was still bleaching his hair, but it was like you could tell it was like dye. It wasn't like his real black hair, and it was like this was like a new like he had unlocked a new version of Cody Rhodes. That was kind of crazy. Cody heel, turn Joe Hendry heel, turn into 90s DX. That would be a win. Joe Hendry, could you imagine that? Say his name and he appears. Dun dun. Like that would be a funny entrance, I will say. I mean, I don't know. I don't think DX is like their sense of humor. I mean, especially not Cody. Cody is corny. Like that's the thing. Like even if you go watch like some of his best shtick in the time that he was in Bullet Club, he was corny, and it was very clear that's what he was. And he did not shy away from it. I thought Cody was going to turn heel in AEW and he colored his hair black. I think that was a missed opportunity. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole, like, oh, Cody wanted to turn heel, but people didn't want him to be heel. I don't want to get into any of that. What I do know, and I think what we all kind of know at this point, is that AEW simply dropped the ball with Cody at the end. And I think it was kind of... It really all goes back to the decision that was to take him out of the title picture entirely. And I understand why the Elite did that in the beginning. I understand why they wanted to take themselves kind of out of the running for the tag titles, the world title, and why Kenny Omega took that big loss to Jon Moxley in the beginning. Like, and Pac, remember, Kenny lost to Pac at the first ever AEW All Out pay-per-view. So I think back then it was done because they did not want people to think, neither other wrestlers nor the audience to believe that they were the ones calling the shots, that they were going to run a roughshod through the entire division, that they were going to, be Hogan. I think there was this big fear of coming across as WCW in the worst way, because there's ways that AEW has come across as WCW in the best way, because I think the way that they book Dynamite, like when it feels like a 97 Nitro show, that's when it's at its best. Now, of course, you have the flip side of it where I think that fear of coming across as like EVPs and that title being, a taken more seriously than it probably should have been. I think that's what kind of led to them, taking that backseat role. But taking Cody out of that world title picture, like that match he had with Jericho where the stipulation was if Cody loses, he can never challenge for the AEW World Championship again. That was just bad booking. It was, and it failed them in many ways. And Cody still did some really good stuff, I thought, afterwards. I think the TNT's title stuff was really cool, but it never got to a point where we felt like we were working his way, or he was working his way back to the world title picture. He just felt kind of, like there. And the Codyverse thing became a real thing because it just felt like everything Cody was doing was not connected to what AEW was doing. And I think part of that was he was just never considered for the title picture. And you disconnected one of your top stars from the entire show, basically. And it led to what it led to. There's obviously other reasons why Cody ended up leaving AEW. There were, personal reasons and other things that, we kind of have heard about, but I don't want to go too much into them. But like, there were some deep personal reasons why he didn't stay with AEW. Pac is being misused, injuries as well. My bro needs a reboot. It's so weird with Pac, right? Because I think Pac he's one of those weird cases where you're right. He hasn't really done much. but I say that, but he's like a former trios champion or two-time trios champion. He has, competed in big tournaments for AEW, competed for the world title, and despite the fact that he has never been in the world title picture outside of like one feud he had with Kenny Omega in 2021, despite that, he's managed to keep like this aura about him. Like Pac is just one of those guys. It's kind of crazy. No matter what he does and the losses he suffers or whatever, he comes into that building and you immediately think that's a guy who can wrestle for the world title. And like you can get him hot at any point and he will be ready. Because in the ring, he's got it. He can take a loss. And that moment that when he finally does challenge, I think, for the world title, that's going to be big. So I think he's protected in many ways. I don't know what it is. Like, it just feels like when he's there, it's serious business. Maybe that's just it. Perhaps. Mayhaps. Maybe. I don't know. Let me know in the chat, guys. By the way, guys, keep on coming with those chats. I see y'all have your comments, your questions, your opinions. And I want to hear from every single one of you beautiful people. Let's go, man. It's a nice little Sunday morning. I need to make some breakfast later. My Ravens aren't playing today. Just chilling. By the way, guys, I just came out with a couple of new videos. Did a whole media breakdown of this new Vince McMahon Rolling Stone article that came out that chronicles the experience of 6 former WWE employees, many of which we have not actually heard from. Chronicles the sexism and bullying that went on behind the scenes in the writer's room, especially. It was a really interesting piece, so go check that out in the archives. It's from I think I posted it last night. And then I also talked about a new show that WWE is going to be coming out with when they move to Netflix. So that's going to be added to the already stacked WWE slate of programming, because like you got Raw on Mondays. It's going to be probably 2 to 3 hours, somewhere in between there, when they end up going to Netflix. So you got Raw on Mondays, NXT on Tuesdays, and then you like, all right, AEW, let's do it. Raw on Mondays, NXT on Tuesdays, Dynamite on Wednesdays, Friday Night SmackDown, Saturday Night Collision, and then at some point, probably on Thursdays, you're going to fit in AEW Shockwave. Oof, oof, oof. So much programming, people. And I do think, I think we're going to have, a situation here where Shockwave is going to be recorded or probably live on a Thursday, and then Collision is going to be recorded with Shockwave on Thursday. I could very well see that being a situation. I have a question, brother. Do you think AEW can get back to circa 96, 97 WCW? I think they have. I think over the past couple of months, we've seen them go back to that formula that works. And I think recently Dynamite, this past week's Dynamite, I thought was hitting. Because it's all right, boom, things happening. Things that happened earlier are being developed into the show and are being, not only talked about, but also built upon. And you had the Blackpool Combat Club arc throughout the entire night. The best wrestling shows, honestly, have an arc to them. And by that, I mean, you have something in the middle of or the beginning of the show that builds into an event or something in the middle of the show that continues all night. And it makes you want to keep tuning in. I think AEW has found that, and they understand that. You also had Adam Cole's return promo. You had some great matches with the Elite against the Conglomeration. Shout out to Mark Briscoe. But I thought this was a great show coming off of a pay-per-view, and yeah, I think if you ask me, this is the closest to 97 WCW they've been probably since, I would say, that summer summer into fall of 2021, which was probably the peak. I mean, I think this is what they're doing now is crazy. I just need them to get this Elite storyline under control. But the fact they're talking about Kenny Omega 2 on TV makes me hopeful that he's probably going to return at some point. Let's talk about this, because I know this is something that many people have criticized, chastised, and have very strong opinions about. Frank in the chat asks, the MJF Adam Cole promo was confusing to me on Wednesday. Adam Cole turned on MJF. Am I missing something? So, yes. I think, and again, this is, like, to an extent, this is a retcon, right? And I think one of the things that, like, you know, I'm choosing my words carefully because I know what people are going to automatically say. And I don't want to come off as I'm excusing anything bad or whatever. Let's just be honest with this. From Adam Cole's injury to December and the end of MJF's title reign, it was it was flat. Looking back at it, especially, it was flat. At the time, the Devil storyline had the potential to make things interesting, but with Adam Cole being so far away from injury, it just all, in retrospect, looks flat. And it is flat, quite frankly. But I think if there was a way to turn it on its head, this is the best way. Because even in that promo that Adam Cole cut on MJF, or on the fans after he had cost MJF the title, he had said that, you know, he kind of resents the fans for booing him and being on MJF's side, because at the end of the day, he knew what MJF was. And he knew MJF was a snake. And that at the first sign of trouble, he would go back to his old ways. And he just got MJF before MJF had a chance to get Adam Cole. And at the end of the day, he was right. Because what did MJF do upon his return? He went back to being the old MJF, the heel, turning on the fans, doing diabolical and villainous stuff. And Adam Cole, in the storyline, feels vindicated. Because he was like, I told you. And he's not going to be one of those people who's like, I'm in your face, I told you, stupid fans, or whatever. But he's just going to come out and say, look, this was going to happen. Because MJF is a snake. And I think that's kind of what they've done. They kind of turned it on their heads. Is it perfect? Obviously not. But one thing we do know is that these two have told really good stories together before. And they've had great matches together. And I am giving them the grace of kind of working through this and getting it to a point. I think it's important to do that, right? We could have very easily said Cody Rhodes' title reign was booty cheeks a month or two afterwards. But no, you give him grace. You give him 6-7 months. And then it's kind of like, okay, his title reign's not great. But you got to give people time to tell stories and to explore these things and retcon things. Like, it's a thing that happens in regular TV shows. It's a thing that happens in wrestling. Sometimes the story isn't exactly what you thought it would pan out to be, and you just got to move on and you know, rework it a little bit. I think that's kind of what happened. Shout out Vince Russo. Just say bro multiple times. I saw that. I'm not gonna watch that thing on the air because it involves someone who I have. Well, it involves many people who I have like somewhat of a problem with. But like Charlie Caruso. Jesus Christ. What's her name in real life? Charlie Anti-Vax Caruso. Yeah, I think that's what her name is. Charlie Arnold. Yeah, I know. She's like fucking psychotic, and she works for Clay Travis, like literally one of the dumbest grifters like there is in sports media. Anyway, shout out to the Outkick. I don't know. Fuck the Outkick, actually. Anyway, all right, we're throw it away. I'm sorry. I'm literally looking at a Charlie Arnold quote here where she's like, Arnold left ESPN to join Clay Travis, founded news, sports, and politics multimedia platform The Outkick, saying, "Cancel culture doesn't exist here. I speak freely." It's just like, yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone goes to The Outkick to actually get like good takes on anything, especially sports. I mean, like, they're sports. Anyway, let me not. Whoo, it's the wrestling channel. I have another space for that. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, that shit was insane though. Like, my favorite part is Maven just like watching all of like that, the Piers Morgan stuff. Like, just watching him be like, oh wow. Like, these people are crazy. And Piers Morgan, look, I despise a lot of what Piers Morgan has done throughout not only his career, but also like, especially the past year. And his framing, especially of like the Palestinian genocide. But at the same time, he is truly just in it for the clicks. Like that man is consistent about being in it for the clicks. That's what that video was. That man is just literally like, we are here to get as many clicks as possible. He is a YouTuber first and a newscaster, like probably fifth at this point. Anyway, how did Adam Cole return before Kenny? Is Kenny close to returning? Yes. I think Kenny is close to returning. That's why they mentioned him on TV. He cut a promo with Tanahashi, who, by the way, is retiring next year, which is crazy. But he cut a promo with Tanahashi talking about how he is going to face the Elite at Wrestle Kingdom. I think Omega is returning before the end of the year, for sure. So next month or two, I would expect him. Anywho, we also got to talk about Brock Lesnar. So earlier this week, it was making the rounds that Brock Lesnar was being planned to be brought back into WWE. Again, take that with a grain of salt, because Brock Lesnar right now also has a whole bunch of baggage around him, because he was involved in, or he was at least, indirectly noted in the Janelle Grant lawsuit as someone who Vince was trying to solicit Janelle Grant to. Now, of course, there is no allegation like from the lawsuit against Brock directly. I want to be clear about that. But at the same time, it is from a PR perspective, it is a bad look for them to bring him in. And when you have a company that has the amount of monsters, quote unquote, that WWE has, when you look at the risk reward factor for that, and you also just look at, the bottom line, the money, the stock price, things like that, the things that really make TKO, drive these decisions, I think they would much rather not have to deal with the backlash or potential backlash and the potential, bringing back up of the stories in mainstream press of Vince McMahon. I just don't think he's going to come back. I just don't think so. At least not right now. like maybe if this lawsuit gets settled, again, that's a big if this lawsuit gets settled, I could see a situation where Brock might come back, but it's so untenable right now. I just don't see it. Strictly from from that point, and look, TKO legal has to sign off on this. At the end of the day, nothing happens. He's not showing up unless legal signs off on this. And if they don't, then I would not expect to see Brock Lesnar anywhere near a WWE ring. Nah. Frank says, I don't think Brock is coming back. WWE, I would be surprised. Yeah, I would be surprised too. I just don't see that. I understand there's this desire. Given the Royal Rumble, you want to see the big returns. You want to see, big time names and all that kind of stuff. I just don't see it. All I will say is Vince McMahon's reputation precedes him, John, and wouldn't be surprised. I am not surprised whenever I hear about billionaires who are into and it's not even I don't even really care about what he's into, like, as far as, like, that stuff is concerned, to be honest with you. It's, like, more so, like, when it's non-consensual, that's when it gets into, like, dangerous and abusive territory, obviously. Like, but I'm just not surprised when I hear, like, stuff about billionaires, like, doing stuff like that. 'Cause it's just like, yeah, he's a billionaire. They're kind of freaky. Is Brock still signed to WWE, though? I mean, yeah, I would think that he is still under contract. Could Drew McIntyre be traded to SmackDown in the future? I think they're going to have a draft at some point in 2025, early 2025. As soon as, like, they get this Netflix show off the ground, I think I would expect maybe after WrestleMania. Excuse me. I think maybe after WrestleMania is when you would, like, see them go and have, like, a true draft, because I think they want their biggest stars on both Raw and SmackDown in Mania season, regardless of what's going on. And then, you know, Mania, like, the post-Mania time is, like, when you're like, okay, let's draw the battle lines. Let's draw, like, okay, you're SmackDown, you're Raw, and let's, like, get this machine through the rest of the year until Mania next year. But yeah, that's what I see. John Woodman asks, I don't know what to say. I mean, like, it is what it is. Again, like, the thing I'm concerned about is, like, the fact that, like, it allegedly was not consensual. And when you have, like, multiple cases of that with one man going back to the 80s, and not like a thing where it's, like, recent allegations. These are long-held allegations. You have the Ring Boy scandal, which, again, we don't talk about enough, I don't think, and how absolutely disgusting that was. I mean, there's a lot of baggage when it comes to abuse in WWE, that a lot of it, which was, partially perpetrated by, but also perpetuated by Vince McMahon. I mean, I don't know. I just it's horrible. It's horrible. Again, like, you have, like, the not only people who work under McMahon being, abused and manipulated, and something that's, like, something that Vince even admits to, like, he enjoys that manipulation, at least, like, in many facets of his work. But it would not be a leap to say, like, he also enjoys that in his personal life. And I think that's one thing that the documentary about him made very, very clear, and the things we've heard him say out of character. I think it's very clear. Yeah. I feel like he has nothing else to do after CM Punk match, especially on Raw, but I could be wrong. Drew McIntyre. Oh, okay, that's what you're referring to. Yeah. I mean, look, this was an amazing feud that he had with Punk. Like, the Punk stuff was absolutely astounding. I loved it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I do think it's going to be interesting to see what he does next. I mean, he's tied to WWE for the next couple of years. Like he's not going anywhere. But I don't know. Like, I do think this has elevated Drew, though. Not just as, like, a wrestler, but, like, as a character. Is really, this stuff has really elevated Drew to another level, because he is willing to, like it's shown that he's, like, willing to, like, play these mental mind games that help give him a leg up. I would like to see Drew, like, take the Intercontinental Championship. I know they're probably going to give it to Braun Breaker or whatever, but give Drew the Intercontinental title. Or Drew versus Gunther. Book it. Saturday night's main event, because I'm going to be there in New York. Saturday night's main event. Give me Gunther, Drew McIntyre. Let them beat the piss out of each other. Yeah, I mean, Pat Patterson had some allegations against him. You also had, I think, a gentleman who used to work for WWE by the name of Mel Phillips, I believe. Or was it Mel Phillips? Yeah, I think it was Mel Phillips. Yes, Mel Phillips. That was, again, part of the Ring Boy scandal, which, there was allegedly abuse to Ring Boys, some of whom were actually underage, which makes it even more disgusting. Not that it wasn't already, horrible, but and look, Muchnick reported on this like in the 90s, but again, wrestling tends to get a pass when you talk about the controversies compared to other forms of entertainment or sport. And it was reported like Vince originally like knew about these allegations. That's why Mel Phillips was taken off the road and he was taken away from the company, but he brought him back in. And he knew. So, I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. It is what it is. Like, there's obviously like a pattern and a history of like allowing these things to happen and fostering an environment where there's very little accountability for these things. Jermaine asks, where does Darby Allin go from here? I was thinking 4 pillars, 4-way, but MJF versus Cole, I don't think that's happening. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I think Darby Allin's the one who's going to take the title off of Mox. I really do. I really believe that they are building this entire storyline to prop up the young guys in AEW who really need it, who have not, been up at that main event level for the past couple of years. I think they are trying to turn Darby Allin into like the main event, one of their main eventers. And this is like the storyline that does it. Frank G says, McIntyre Gunther Saturday night's main event would be good. Yeah, give it to me, man. I'm going to be there. I can't wait. Oh, man. Like, I'm going to... It is insane because I'm like not going to be... So, like, I've gone to like a bunch of wrestling events this year. So, like, I'm going to try to like count them out. So, I went to... God, okay. I don't think now. Okay, AEW Big Business. I was there. WrestleMania. I was there. Then we have nothing in March, April. Then it was AEW Dynasty. I was definitely there. Nothing in May. No, nothing in May. Then in June, I had Forbidden Door and SmackDown and MSG. Then in August, I had... Did I do anything in July? I don't think I did anything in July. No. Then in August, I had All In, All Out. I also had Bad Blood in October. Did I do anything in September? No. But yeah, and then like for the rest of the year, I have Full Gear that I'm going to. I know I'm going to end up going to Saturday night's main event. And I also know I'm going, maybe going to World's End. So that'll be 11 shows this year. I feel like I'm missing one. Anyway. A bunch of wrestling shows. Anyway, a lot of shows this year. I don't plan to go on any next year. I don't think I'm going to any. Like, the only big one I think I'm actually going to end up going to next year because, next year, I think this was the year I was trying to get, like, I was just trying to go to a bunch of wrestling shows. It's like a time where I could. But I think starting next year, it's going to be very limited, or much more limited than it has been. But I do think that, there's a couple that I'll end up going to. Like, SummerSlam is right up the road. Next year, I can go to that. I'll probably end up flying out for All In. I think that's like a given for me. Not doing WrestleMania this year. But, yeah, I think it's just going to be a much lighter show. Because I'm mostly, quite frankly, kind of sick of the travel. Oh, WrestleDream. I forgot to put WrestleDream in there. That's like 12 shows. I'm just so sick of the travel, to be honest. Like, I can handle like a... Here's the thing. I can handle I can handle like a short train ride, like a 2-hour train ride, no problem. But like the airplanes are different, man. Like, I mean, like I don't mind air travel at all, but it's just like I got to a point like this, especially like from late August through just last week. It was just like I was on a plane like every single week, and it drains you. It genuinely drains you, and like especially when you're doing like long distance, the time like it's just a lot, man. It's just a lot. Only Father of the Year can save us now. I don't know what they're gonna end up doing with Christian Cage in that contract. Like I think that there could be a scenario where he loses that to Darby. That could be interesting. I feel like Saturday night's main event back in the day set up matches for Raw and SmackDown. Yeah, I mean, okay, like especially like the 2006 version that was like treated as like that was basically treated as like an exhibition show. It wasn't even like a real like premium live event. I do think though that there's definitely more of a what's it called? In not only incentive, but there's a lot of priority being put on this as a PLE level show, because they don't have a PLE for December, but they definitely want to make this into like, oh, this is our pay-per-view for the week or the month of December, right? I think they're trying to like make sure that this is that bridge between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble, which I believe Royal Rumble isn't that being held in like February this year, or like, am I wrong about that? Or next year, excuse me. Yeah, February 1st. They moved it back a week. Oh god, yeah, this is the Royal Rumble at Lucas Oil Stadium. Oh, Indianapolis. Yo, Indy's about to get Mania. I'm just gonna tell you, Indy's gonna get Mania, man. It's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be an announcement I don't think anyone wants to hear about, because ain't nobody trying to go to WrestleMania in Lucas Oil Stadium. Shout out to them. It's a good stadium. It's fine, but ain't nobody trying to go to Indianapolis for that. Come on now, Indy. Could have had WrestleMania in London, but no. Instead, they want to bring it to Indy. Ooh. Anyway, and then you got WrestleMania. What was it? WrestleMania 40. So it's WrestleMania 41. That's going to be in Vegas. WrestleMania 42. Probably going to be Indy at this point, I would think. And then WrestleMania 43. What was it being thrown around? There's like a city being thrown around for that. God, it was 2027. What was it? I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Minneapolis, because Minneapolis lost out on their WrestleMania bid, and that's how they got SummerSlam for 2026. Who got who's the leader? Like, I should say, who's the leader to get WrestleMania in 2027? Nashville. Ain't that a Anyway, shout out to Nashville. It's a nice little town. Could Christian Cage take the belt away from Mox? Christian is one who brings out Shane. Maybe. But then I'm like, what's the point of like having Mox? Why aren't they doing WrestleMania in London? Beats the hell out of me. I think they want it to happen. It's just like one of those things where, like, it's one of those things where it needs to be a priority for both the city and WWE, because at the end of the day, WWE is going to give WrestleMania to the highest bidder possible. That is their goal. That is their incentive. Sometimes with the budgets of these cities, we see them like they need to spend that money wisely. You only get like, every so often you can only bring like one or two big events like that to a city, like, and especially like paying the absorbent amount that it costs to get a WrestleMania. Like, I think WrestleMania site fees here. Let me actually pull this up so we can all just take a look. WrestleNomics, by the way, shout out to them, did a big breakdown on like WrestleMania site fees. Let me see if this is. Yeah, all right. So this is it. Let me pull it up. By the way, guys, it's a good time to remind y'all to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. All right. I think I got it. I think I can. I know I can. Barely. Why is there a big Verizon ad in here? Well, anyway, let's fix this real quick. But yeah, I mean, as you can see here, like, we got a few like different metrics for site fees for WrestleMania. Get rid of these ads. God, everything's a freaking ad at this point, guys. But you had like 3.2 million for Dallas. You had recently, it was reported that it was like 5 million to bring in WrestleMania to Las Vegas. So like right now, like it is a hot thing to try to bring in Mania. But you also have London reportedly trying to bring in the NFL for the Super Bowl. And if we're being honest, that's going to be definitely a more expensive event, but it's also going to drive revenue in the multitudes that Mania would. That's just the truth of the monster and the beast of the Super Bowl. And also this being the first Super Bowl to be held, or this, theoretically being the first Super Bowl to be held outside of North America. Major deal if they're able to get that. And I think if that's the case, they would rather spend all the money to get the Super Bowl, wait on Mania for a couple of years. And I think, again, this is me speculating a little bit, but I do think like with the talk of the Super Bowl being in London and those talks getting louder and louder, I think like there's a chance they say, okay, let's take the 5, 6, 7 million, whatever it would be for the WrestleMania show, and like let's just put it all in the Super Bowl. Because I think for London and that city and England as a whole, or the UK as a whole, I think getting a Super Bowl is definitely higher on the priority list than getting WrestleMania. That is just the truth of the matter and the truth of just how these decisions are made. They are made to drive as much revenue and attention and tourism as possible. And WrestleMania will do that, but not to the level that the NFL would. So I think, that's, again, me kind of hypothesizing, speculating based off of like some of the things we know now. But that could change. You never know. But they have a few years. I think 2029 would be the earliest they could hold a Super Bowl. So maybe. It's like they watch the NFL over there. They're crazy about it, man. And the NFL is trying to expand there. I think within the next couple of years, you will see an expansion team in London. I fully expect that. That might be the reason why WWE is not going to London. Yeah. I think AEW is going to London too. I mean, look, they've been to London twice for big shows. They had Wembley Stadium all in 2023, 2024. There's going to be Forbidden Door in London in 2025. They haven't announced what location that would be. I could very well see that being, I think that could potentially be when they run Craven Cottage, because I know Tony really wants to run Craven Cottage as a venue. Also believe that there's going to, I also know, and we also all know that All In is coming back to Wembley Stadium in 2026. So AEW is going to be in London 1, 2, 3, 4 straight years by the time All In 2026 rolls around, creating a bit of a foothold there. But we'll see if WWE can get around to it. And also WWE is going to have shows, but we'll see. Ryan Davis, my Panthers will probably get relocated to London. Hey, man, I'm not going to lie, man. Y'all ain't showing up for the games. They might. Although, can you really blame the fans for not showing up to these trash games? Man, shout out to you, Ryan. You're going through it. You're going through it as a fan right now. At least this year, your number 1 overall pick will actually hopefully land you a prospect instead of being traded to someone else. Hey, yo. Woo. Also, Dave Canales. I'm sorry, Ryan. Who the hell is Dave Canales? I'm sorry, man. Y'all took that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator and y'all thought, this is what we need to succeed. I'm hey, yo. You were better off sticking with Matt Reich or Frank Reich, excuse me. Oh, come on, man. Oof. It's hard for me to even watch us play. I mean, it might be hard for you to watch, but it's not as hard as it is for them to actually play the game. They are having trouble playing the game of football over there. But we'll see, man. All right, shout out to you, bro. Hey, man, look, I'm a Ravens fan, so I've never really been part of a true rebuild. We've had some seasons where we didn't make the playoffs, but that's a deep rebuild y'all got going on in Carolina. That's a deep one. No one else would take the job. Bill Belichick saw that opening and was hell no. What are you giving me to work with? Andy Dalton and Bryce Young? Fuck that. Wall Street Money says probably Jacksonville Jaguars are going to have a team in London. They have run Wembley Stadium before. I don't see them leaving Jacksonville. I think they're building a new stadium in Jacksonville. They're not going to leave with the amount of money they're pouring into this new stadium, I don't think they're going to leave. I think there's a higher likelihood that the NFL actually expands the number of games that they play, adding an additional bye week. And again, this is not a Real Take Sports. For all of my sports takes, people, go over to youtube.com/Real Take Sports. But I would quickly entertain this because I know it is NFL Sunday. Kickoff is in about 30 minutes as of this recording. And I know all of y'all are geeking about the games today, but my Ravens aren't playing, so I'm just like chilling. Big chilling. I don't see the Jaguars going to London, though. As far as full time, I don't think that will ever happen. I think you'll have like some teams have like a residency in London for sure. Actually, let me see. There's like a map of this NFL popularity by country. There's definitely like a map of this. I'm trying to see. Is this it? Oh God, no! This is just. Well, I mean, like there's a. All right, here we go. This is actually something I can show you guys. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so this is like every. This is from when? Is this from this year? 2 months ago. Okay, so you can see this map right here. Kind of shows like the NFL's popularity or the most popular team in each country around the world. So you can see here the Miami Dolphins, very popular over there across the pond. And shout out to the New England Patriots. Yo, Ireland being Patriots fans, that is the most on-brand thing I've ever seen. Shout out to my boys out in Ireland. That is funny as hell. That is really funny. They're just like, yeah, hey man, we keep it real. We are the Irish and we love our Patriots. Meanwhile, oh my God, I also love this. You got all the Nordic countries outside of Denmark, but all the Nordic countries, including Iceland, it's like we are cold as hell and we love the Buffalo Bills. Wait, I haven't seen this. This shit is funny. You got the Germany liking the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know what the correlation is there. And then you go over here. What? Wait, whoa, Pakistan. What are we doing here? Why are we Cowboys? Oh, Pakistan repping the Cowboys. Hell no. I gotta go there and change that. My people, I gotta tell my people about what the Cowboys have done. Obviously, they don't know. They are not aware. Oh my God, there's a lot of Cowboys fans here. What the hell? What's going on here? What is up with all this Cowboys fan? Oh, I keep messing it up. Let me, you got Pakistan Cowboy fans. Hold up. What is this, man? Since when are the Cowboys as popular across the world? They are literally they are America's team. They should be hated. Shouldn't they? Oh my God. I can't even do this right. Yeah, the Mongolia. Shout out to Mongolia for repping the Browns. Hey, yo. This is funny. Shout out to Mongolia for repping the Browns, man. They're just like, yes, we love the Browns. I don't know why, but we love the Browns. You got we got Italy with the Bills. What is that? Is that no, that's not. Man, the Bills are just dominated. It's Bills, Cowboys, and Chiefs, and somehow the Browns are getting in on the action. Meanwhile, like the Dolphins, UK was just like, we want to be different, bro. We just want to be different, bro. And then you got, some countries repping the Packers, Saudi Arabia repping the Cowboys, whatever. Turkey. Is that Cyprus? Wait, are the boys in Cyprus repping the Chicago Bears? Yeah, Wall Street Money brings up a great point. This isn't accurate. Why is everyone Cowboys fan? Hold up. I'm going to try to pull up I'm going to try to pull up another map because this seems off. Microsoft, stop spreading this potential propaganda, all right? I know this is a wrestling stream, and I'm sure like a bunch of you guys have tuned out because this has nothing to do with wrestling, but hey, yo, hold up. No, I got to get to the... You know what? No, I want to get to the bottom of this. Map. Most popular NFL teams across the world. We will get to the bottom of this. I mean, they have a map of America. When will you upload on Vibes and Real Take Sports? I upload on Russell Vibes. Yeah, not yesterday, but the day before. I had to take a little bit of a break because I was just I was just like kind of tired, honestly, and burnt out. Like, again, the travel really got to me. Work is what, like, because when you're traveling, you have work. It's hard to sit down and try to make videos that I kind of feel comfortable like putting out there. Not that I have like a high standard or whatever. I mean, but at the end of the day, I feel like you got to be like proud of what you put out there, or at least fine with that being the case. It's just been burnout, to be honest with you. But we're back to it. I have a few Russell Vibes videos in the bank. One of them going up on Monday. Another one going up on Tuesday. The one on Tuesday, that's going to be a bit of a Russell Vibes feature. So it's going to be a cool little, like, kind of like how I did with Bryan Danielson before. But it's going to be a cool little thing. No, my friends, that is the real map. That is like the only map that I'm seeing here. Oh, hold up. Hold up. People, we have more. There is more to this story, because we finally have a full map that's not just a Eurasian map. We have South America, Australia also represented here. I'm gonna take you off there for a second, Liam. How do I fix this? Boom, there we go. All right, Liam, are we getting any vlog footage? Probably not, Liam. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just I didn't take much vlog footage when I was in Seattle, and it was just. Well, I'm gonna try to cut something into like a year-long maybe look back vlog, maybe like an extended one, but I don't think I have enough from Wrestle Dream or Bad Blood. I have nothing from Bad Blood. I just didn't even vlog at Bad Blood because I was just, again, burnout, man. It just hit me this month, so sorry about that. But you know what I'm not sorry about? How the Broncos dominating the Australia. I don't know how that happened. And somehow New Zealand is still Chiefs fans. Like, wait a minute. And then the Chiefs the Chiefs absolutely, like, just, they are, South America is the Chiefs. Like, that's really what they're like, we are all Chiefs fans. We have decided. Do not try to change our minds. Wall Street Money, we are not Buffalo Bills fans. Who is we? You don't mind me asking, where are you? Are you from Canada, Wall Street Money? Where are you from, my guy? Because I don't know, Canada, Buffalo Bills, didn't they play a couple of games there? Ryan Davis, the entire continent of Australia are Broncos fans. Yep, that's what it is. I mean, the entire continent of South America are Chiefs fans. That's literally what this map says. And then you got Madagascar. Shout out to Madagascar. They're all Buffalo Bills fans too. The Bills, hold up. Wait. Oh, I was looking for North Korea. I was like, wait, what's North Korea up to? What are they doing up there? And I love how Russia and North Korea, they're just like, Iran, they're just like, no. We reject American football. Like, no. We just reject the premise of American football. Japan's Cowboy fans. Oh my gosh. We got what is that? Oh my god. Yeah, you guys Steelers fans out here. Yo. Football bringing the world together somehow, some way. Kenny Omega needs to go to WWE. That ain't happening. At least not till like 2028. That's the earliest he'd be able to go to WWE. Especially with injury time, though. I don't think he ever ends up going to WWE. I genuinely think that maybe for like a Hall of Fame induction, even though he's not one of their guys, but I could see that maybe. But I just don't see him going to WWE. I'm from Long Island. I'm a New York Jets fan. My condolences. My condolences, because I hear you guys are just about to. You guys are looking at trade offers for Garrett Wilson. Aaron Rodgers like, I got my guy. I don't need Garrett anymore. Okay. Look, we are immunized against defeat now. If I get out Aaron Rodgers. Shout out to you, John, though. The Bucks own an island country. LOL. They are the Pirates. Yeah. Until they lose in the playoffs to the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. Oh my God. Everyone loses the Chiefs. Will Brian run a G1 in New Japan? I would say no at this point. If it didn't happen already, I just don't think it's gonna happen. Unless that's like his thing for like a year, like he comes back in like maybe a couple of years and says like, this is the thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run the G1, and I'm just gonna have epic matches, which that would be great. But I the likelihood of that happening at this point, given like his injuries and him like genuinely taking a step back, his full-time reigning career is over. I don't know if I see him wrestling like that many matches back to back to back to back, and being in Japan for that long, like it's like a month-long tournament. Could be the next AEW tag team champion after the Bucks. Who are we talking about? I don't know. Oh, you mean Kenny Omega? Oh yeah, I think Kenny and Kota Ibushi take the belts off of the Bucks. That's where I see this. Who wins the C2? Ooh. Hey man, it's almost you bring up a good. It's almost C2 season, baby. Like, forget the G1. We got the American version, all right? We got the American version. I'm waving my American flag that I don't have. Actually, wait a minute. Hold up. Yeah, I do. Hold up. We're gonna. Oh, I don't even have that pulled up. Hold up. No. We definitely got the American flag in here somewhere. Just give me a sec. I'll be back. Yeah. Look, hey. Look here, people. I'm gonna tell you something right now. All right. One thing you don't do is tread on me. All right. I am Kurt Angle. All right. In 2003. Actually, no, I'm not, because he did a lot. I am Kurt Angle. Period. Like, this is my gimmick. All right. Jack Swagger in 2013. Me. America. You know why? Because the American C2 is better than the G1. This is what this channel is about now. All right. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I don't know. I just have like this comically big American flag laying around. I didn't know what to do with it, because I definitely wouldn't want to like put it up like in the background or whatever, because this is a global show. It's a global entertainment conglomerate. We're not just Americans here. But I will say, for purposes of the Continental Classic, look, America, we have the best tournament of champions. We have the best everything. Look, America is the best. We're not the best when it comes to funding countries that commit genocide. We are actually the best when it comes to that, because we do that way too much. But America. So put on your red, white, and blue. All right. This is what we're talking about right now. Anyway, who wins the C2? That's a very I don't even know why I transitioned to that, but who wins the C2 is a very interesting question. Obviously, I think there are a bunch of people who need it. Like Jay White, you could argue probably needs it. I would put him probably at the top of the list. I know they teased a story with Konosuke Takeshita. I don't think that's gonna happen, especially with him holding the international championship. My top two for a men's C2 would be Jay White, because I think it's long overdue for him to hold singles gold in AEW, and I think he could use that boost. But also a guy like Orange Cassidy or Pac too. I think, man, the C2 this year is going to be great. I can't wait for it. Like, last year, it was fantastic. Probably one of the best things AEW did in 2023 from a pure wrestling standpoint. But, yeah, I can't wait for it. Guys, we're heading down the home stretch here. Give it another like 5 or 6 minutes. Omar, you are not gonna get your citizenship by waving the flag on the stream. Hey man, I am American. All right, I don't need to get citizenship. I already got it. I'm American. All right. And I am proud of a few of the things. Not all of the things. I don't think anyone can be proud of everything America's done. If you are, it's kind of, But hey, man, we're doing it. We're doing it. We got Ryan says, I would have said Takeshita before he won the Real World Championship. He is now defending it against everyone in every promotion. Yeah. I would have said Takeshita too, but I think, hey, look, they gave him the international title. I think Take's going to do some good stuff there. But yeah. So yeah, Jay White. I mean, I just keep coming back to Jay White. As if there's a guy who I would say he needs it, it would be him. I would like to see a lot of people. Orange Cassidy winning the C2 would be great because, he would just tear it up. Even like a guy like Brody King, like winning the C2. I would love that. I do think, though, there needs to be... I like the idea of the Continental Championship. I just don't know if it needs to be a physical belt that's defended because, again, AEW is a program that has a whole bunch of belts. You get the AEW World Title, Women's World Title, Trios Championship, Tag World Title, the International Championship, the Continental Championship, the TNT Championship, the TBS Championship, and then that's just, look, that is 8 of the main roster titles. Don't even get me started on the Ring of Honor integration. Because then you got the Ring of Honor World title that's defended. Somehow, I just don't get this, man. Look at me. The best thing about that show, Ring of Honor, that they have right now, the only thing they have going for them is Athena as the Women's World Champion. And they never do anything with her on TV. That is crazy to me. What's the best women's division in wrestling so far this year? I would have to give it to NXT. Switchblade makes the most sense. Yeah, but again, I mean, Switchblade makes the most sense, but I would love to see others win it. Like that's the thing, man. Even you could tell stories in the C2 of these people fighting to make a name for themselves and reach that full potential that they have. You could have a Kyle O'Reilly win it. You could have a Roderick Strong win it. Adam Cole, tell me that wouldn't cook. Adam Cole winning the C2, tell me that wouldn't cook, man. That would be crazy. Actually, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. But yeah, guys, I think I'm just about done. We crashed out today. I pulled out the American flag. I don't even know why. Didn't even, I tried to fold it right. Anyway, guys, hopefully y'all are doing well. I hope y'all enjoy your Sunday. Until next time, thank every single one of you, from Ryan to Wall Street Money, Frank G, John Keegan. Taco Kid wasn't here, but shout out to Taco Kid, John Woodmass, everyone who joined in, who sent the chat. I appreciate every single one of you. Jermaine. Until next time, everyone. Be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.